Howdy, folks. Welcome to Thursday's Thoughts. My name is Kenneth Thomas, and on Thursdays is the days you'll hear me giving different opinions and discussions on some different things. So, before we get into this, I do want to say that if you're watching this on Facebook Live, you need to go to StreamYard.com/Facebook and make sure that StreamYard has permission from Facebook to show your name and your information. So that way, if you want to comment while I'm live and participate in the discussion, you'll be able to join in on that. Now, this is a tricky thing for me because I want to talk about acrimonious social media posts. Okay, and part of what I'm wanting to talk about is how um, vicious and divisive uh, a lot of things have been on social media. Okay, and I want to talk about this from a couple of different points of view. Now, first, I want to say that I am not going to advocate here for any particular opinion, nor am I going to necessarily spell out or specify any of the different subjects uh, that have led me to where I want to have this discussion. Okay. I have very strong opinions on a lot of these subjects that have been uh, talked about on the national, state, and local levels. Okay. But I'm also very cognizant as somebody who is a content creator and somebody who is somewhat of a social media influencer, I guess, in a way. I'm very cognizant about what it is that I want to put on my timeline. I want to try to focus on things that talk about wellness, about mental health, and about these kind of positive aspects and things that are going to bring that kind of value. This does not mean that I do not have strong opinions on some of these things. The fact that I'm not posting about them doesn't mean that I refuse to talk about these things. I'm just not going to have those discussions or share those opinions necessarily in a public forum. Okay. If you are somebody that wants to talk about a particular issue with me, I'm more than happy to have that discussion. I'm not going to do it in a public forum, though. If you want to meet for coffee and have a discussion, if you want to have a discussion in a private Zoom or on a Facebook Messenger room, I'm down with that because I believe in having honest discussions with people and in having those open, honest discussions, understanding where I'm coming from for you and for me to understand where you're coming from. This doesn't necessarily mean we're going to change each other's opinions on things, but it builds an understanding so that it tells me more about who you are and you can learn more about who I am. Okay. But these are private discussions. This is not something that I feel is appropriate for me to have on my timeline. Okay. Now, this is not in any way meant to be an indictment or a judgment on people who are having these discussions and their opinions on things brought up onto their social media. Okay. That is what is your choice. All right. Now, one thing I do want to say about this, though, is that some of the responses to, okay, say somebody posts opinion A about subject one. You happen to be on the other side of that issue where you have opinion B on subject one. Having people of other opinions bashing each other and attacking each other um, on social media is bad for mental health. Okay. It's bad for the poster. It's bad for the person who has receiving the post. And it can also influence the mental health of the people reading it. So having a discussion on the subject is one thing. But when I see all the name calling and the really bitter, angry, um, personal attacks it bothers me. Okay. Because in a civil society, I think it's important for us to be able to have hard conversations about hard, difficult topics. But the thing is we need to have those in rational and considerate ways. Okay. Now, I'm not going to say we're going to end up being the best of friends. And I'm not saying that I'm going to lose my friends because we have different opinions on things. But what if you are unwilling to be civil and have it in a discussion with me or with someone else, your lack of civility or my perception of your lack of civility can influence whether or not I decide to be or to have you as part of my circle or part of my life, because I'm going to make those judgments for my mental health and my wellness. There's a lot of people in a lot of different cultures and a lot of different philosophers have said it. You can judge someone by who they associate with. You can also judge someone by the enemies they make. And in this sense, if you're not willing to be civil, and that doesn't mean it can't be boisterous, that doesn't mean it can't be loud, but if you're not willing to be civil in a discussion on something that is such a key, important thing to be talked about in our society, then you're becoming part of a problem and not part of a solution. So I will say this: if you are someone who is in the San Antonio area and you happen to want to get together because you want to know what I think about certain things, reach out to me. I am probably willing to sit down with you and have a discussion if you really want to know what's going on up here and what I view on certain things. Now, you might find me giving thumbs up, likes, or something like that to different people's posts. That just means I'm supporting that viewpoint. That means I'm supporting their speaking their piece. Okay. Um, but that does not mean I'm going to engage in that discussion on even on their post if somebody wants to ask me about it. Private messages, maybe. But the thing is that if we refuse to have civil discussions with each other, even on things that we are vehemently on opposite sides of, the problem is going to sit there and it's going to fester. It is going to become something that causes so much more problems down the road than it would be if we could actually step back and have discussions on these subjects and work toward compromises where both sides are actually compromising. A compromise is not sitting there going, no, you're going to agree with my point, or we're going to keep going this way. That is not a compromise. There are certain aspects that make things hard to compromise on. But until we're willing to engage in civil discourse on some of these subjects, nothing's ever going to change. We won't even know what kind of compromises might have been able to be reached. So if you're someone who's out there and you see a social media post that upsets you, saying something about the issue might be appropriate. Saying something negative, disparaging, or hurtful about the person who posted it is not helpful. It says something about your mental health and your mental state. It can be damaging to the recipient and anybody else who views it. We need to knock this off, folks, because it's not doing our country or our society any good. And that leads into what I've been leaving everybody off with. If you know somebody who is having trouble with suicidal thoughts or know somebody who is, call this number. This is the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, 1-800-273-TALK. Or for those of us who have glasses and don't want to try to read the little letters, that'd be 1-800-273-8255. Reach out to them, talk to them. They will be there to help you. If you don't have somebody in your life that you feel you can reach out to, you can reach out to them and they will be there for you. Because you may not think it right now, but you matter to people. And suicide is a permanent solution to a temporary situation, and you will be missed if you're gone. So, until next time, folks, peace, love, and photography. And remember, everything can make a beautiful image, including you. Have a great afternoon. Bye.